And welcome to Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Nancy, we didn't want to scare you off with that. That's just an in-house joke with a good friend of ours, and
Yeah.
I
we're
liked
not
it.
we're,
It's pretty
we're
cool.
not really Satanists. Believe me.
Speak for yourself, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, thank you, and you know what? Thank you for joining us on the show. Very
Well,
first
thank you for
time on
having
our
me.
show.
Yeah.
Interesting story, and we would love to just pick at your brain on a whole bunch of stuff.
Let's have it.
Yeah, so for well, we're beginners with this. I mean, we don't know much, and so we're here to learn. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners are excited to hear your story too. So maybe just go over a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay. I am a lifelong experiencer with interdimensional beings, so I consider myself a contactee. I've never considered myself an abductee because it's consensual and it started since birth and has gone up into my present time.
Mhm.
So it's a lifelong experiences and visitations. So my I guess if I go back and think about the earliest memories was as a toddler, and they would approach me and come in my room, and they would take my hand and they would float me up through the ceilings and through the roof, and then we would like fly around over, I suppose, extraterrestrial cities and things of this nature, or even just outside sometimes. And they would always take me to a craft. When I was young, I really didn't understand what a lot of this was or how they were able to do this, and I didn't understand how I was able to go through a ceiling physically because I'd look down and my bed would be empty. So this went on for a long, long time that I did not understand. So as I got older, say about junior high age, or even maybe a little sooner than that, I at that point I had started watching television, and my, I was introduced to the movie style extraterrestrials and things of this nature. So I began to become scared because of what I had learned from society and what I had learned from watching TV and things of this nature.
Mhm.
So when that started happening, the experiences changed through my teenage to early 20s. It changed. They would still occur, and I'd have a conscious memory of it starting to occur, but then it would I would black out.
Mhm.
So this went on up into my 20s. So in my 20s, I started to pay more attention to it because I myself started to seek more information, and watch more movies about the extraterrestrials or whatever. I started to look around in bookstores and things of this nature. So, and I realized that this is something that has always happened with me, and it most likely was not going to end. So when I started to have my visitation, I made a point to say, I want conscious memory.
Mhm.
And so they would allow me to have more conscious memory starting in my 20s up until now. I have more conscious memories. But the minute that I start to get fearful or have anxiety, they will tap me out. And I've come to realize the reason they do that is because they don't have emotions and fears of this nature like we do. We are very emotional beings. So whatever I feel, they would feel tenfold. And it's a very uncomfortable feeling to them. So they would tap you out into a subconscious physical state where you're fully functional, but you tend to come back and have fragmented memories. So, and I realized until I could get over fear, this was going to continue to happen and happen and happen. And it's not an easy thing to do, even though you know that nothing harmful is going to happen to you. It's just also different. Nothing is like what's here on earth. And I never understood, like, when they would come to get me, especially all up into my 30s, when I'd be in the bed and my body would start to vibrate, and I would sense their presence, and I would keep my eyes closed, but my body would vibrate from head to toe, toe to head. And so I would continue laying there, and then I would feel the sheets draw off of me, and then I would feel myself start to float up. Again, I would look up, look down, and see this is physically happening. This is real.
Mm-hmm.
So I never understood what in the world all this was, what was going on. But now I do understand. When they come in, we are in a 3D world, of course. And so in order for me to be able to go through a ceiling or a roof, they have to change my vibrational frequency to the same as theirs. Once they raised my frequency, which was what the vibration from head to toe and all that was changing my frequency. So then I could travel as they do, and it made it a lot easier.
So who are they? Who can you explain to us who they are?
Yes. All right. There's many different beings involved here, but the ones that always come to get me are some grays, and one female gray has been with me since birth. She has been with me. She's always the one that comes, and she has two other grays with her, but she is the one that I am bonded with. And she is a hybrid of the tall grays. Mm-hmm. And they designed these hybrid grays to do the back and forth work to get contactees and take them to craft and to bring us back home. Interdimensional beings have a hard time with our density here on Earth, so they created these gray hybrids to do this. So once she gets me on craft or whatever the point being that they wanted me, then she more or less disappears. Her job is done. And then on craft, that's when I am around other beings, and they are humanoid, tall grays, many different types of beings.
Okay. That's now when did they first sort of kind of I guess introduce themselves or make themselves known to you exactly?
They always did, but because of my anxiety and fear, they started blacking me out. And before they did that, and they've done it since, that sometimes they can change their image into they'll pick an image from my mind that I'm comfortable with, and that's how I will see them. If they need to see me, regardless of whether I have fear or anxiety, if there's something they need to communicate with me with, they'll just grab something from my mind. Mm-hmm. And they, like I said, it's a matter of you psychologically getting used to the idea. You know, they're very patient and they give you time. It does not happen overnight. Mm-hmm. It's something that you have to kind of grow into and get used to. And you have to know when it's happening and understand that it's not harmful and get your mind ready for it so that you can have a longer conscious contact. But they've always, ever since I was little, this has been happening, and it's always the same, the gray. And I later found out because my son is an experiencer as well. Mm-hmm. And we took a trip to Mexico, and they pretty much orchestrated this trip because they wanted he and myself to go down there and experience seeing an indigenous tribe in Mexico that mm-hmm. was on the verge of ascension, and they were no longer able to ascend because their race, they're called the Zapotec, and they are called the people of the clouds, and they live in the mountains in Oaxaca, and it's a southern Pacific side of Mexico, mm-hmm. and they live high up in the mountains. So they can orchestrate just about anything they want to do. It's just a lot of things have happened. But when we were there, they wanted me to experience, they wanted me to realize that a dying race, that race was dying because the young people of this race mm-hmm. were fascinated with technology and materialistic things. So they wanted me to understand and see how a beautiful race that had a lot of good ideas and qualities about themselves, and especially towards nature.
Mhm.
And it was a sad loss to the people and for the extraterrestrials to see this happen, because they wanted me and my son to understand and express to others, technology is a beautiful thing as long as we are in control of it and we
Mhm.
don't let it overtake and take control of us. You know, use our brains and use it wisely, that type of thing.
Mhm.
But if you want to ask me something, that's fine.
Yeah,
And
I had a question. Like, did they ever disclose to you why they choose people like yourselves, or anybody for that matter?
oh, I'm so
Like,
glad you asked me that, because I kind of skipped over a whole lot, and I
Mhm.
apologize.
Mhm.
Well, when I was in my 30s and I, demanded more conscious time, and the reason for that is because I wanted to know, why me? Why is this happening to me? What is the purpose of this? What is your agenda? Why me? So they took me before a group of elders, and these are a group of interdimensionals of different dimensions and of different races. So they took me before a group of elders, and they explained to me that I had made a decision to come here on earth, experience the human experience, and to be here at this particular time to help humanity with ascension, and to help humanity understand that they were here and they are here to assist us. They're not here to harm us. They're not here to take over anything. They are simply here to assist us and help us to evolve and become better human beings.
so, so I
So
guess
they
yeah,
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say the question. Like, I understand what you're saying. The question would, in my mind, would be, or my next question rather would be, why not disclose themselves to more people if that's the end game?
Well, they do that. There's probably about a
Okay.
million people like me.
Mhm.
And what I did find out and what they told me is that the reason why I am special to them, I was an extraterrestrial before I came here. So that's why they've always been with me all my life. And they watch over and know everything, whether good or bad, that happens into my life. And they know they've come to me before I really understood all this, when I was having horrible things in my life, as we all do. Been through 2 divorces and just all kinds of horrible things, just
Yeah.
like any other human being. And they always told me that if this got to be too much, I could always come home. And for the longest, that really didn't resonate with me. I thought this was my home. And then as I got older and I realized, oh my gosh, they told me, I just didn't listen. I came here because I had a home there, and I chose to come here for this reason. And there's people I'd say thousands or a million, I don't know the exact number, of people like me. And every race that wishes to see humanity ascend and see humanity prosper and become better human beings have sent a incarnate down here to do what I'm doing. So I don't know if I'm one of the first ones or if we haven't found each other yet, but I'm sure we will. Like me, that are here for this very same reason, to help humanity and to help raise the vibrational level, raise the frequency of humanity, and help teach them to learn to become more positive, and teach them that we are going to outgrow as we evolve intellectually. We will outgrow these ways that where materialistic things are the most important, where we will understand that we have been puppets and enslaved as a race to a fraction of people that want to keep us dumbed down. Our foods, our waters, our air are all have toxins in them. They are polluted. And an extraterrestrial would not even drink our water or eat our food because they have so many toxins in them. So they desire for us to realize that we have an opportunity, because we are becoming more intelligent as a overall species within humanity, and we will outgrow these bad political ways, a lot of different ways. I would say, like, there's a fraction of lower rim extraterrestrials that have worked with governments and with cabal and the so-called black hats to keep us suppressed, because as long as they're in control, they dominate us. And that's why they love for us to have wars. They love for our media to keep us all in a stir. They like for our humanity to be always in a drama infested, in fear, anxiety filled. They do not wish us to come together as one, work together as one, and find happiness and learn the ways that we can eliminate all these bad habits that we have continued to do, and they are not working for us. So there's a lot of things about us that we need to change, and they want to assist us. And when I say they want to help us change, they cannot come down here and fix everything for us. It's just like our children. When they make a mistake, they have to suffer the consequences and learn from their mistakes. We are like children to them. So when we make mistakes, we have to use our mind, and we are getting smarter, and our DNA is being activated. And once we stop eating all these polluted things and waters, our pineal gland will start to function again, and we'll start to have more people will start to be more telepathic and things of this nature. A lot of our gifts are suppressed. So once these things start resurfacing, we will outgrow, and we will see these old ways of wars, old ways of not working together will not work.
Now, it's funny that you mentioned the pineal gland, because I mean, that's not the first time I've heard that. And it's very important that you cleanse it. You get rid of the toxins from it so it can do its job properly. Um, it,
And most people it's decalcified.
well, that's the thing. It's calcification, through fluorides and other things that
Right.
seem to clog it down. Now, is this stuff that they've shown? This is stuff that they've shown
Yes.
you, the information they have shown you, and
Yeah.
how have they communicated this with you? Have they is there like speech, or is it
I
through
have
mind?
face-to-face contact with them,
Okay,
and then they talk to me telepathic. When I
telepathically.
talk to
Okay.
the smaller, the 4-foot female gray that I call my ET mother or ET escort, because she's
Mhm.
been with me since birth. You know, her when she talks, when they talk to me, I can't distinguish between male and female, but I know that she's female. I have a bond with her,
Mhm.
and it's a motherly type bond. But with the interdimensionals, when I'm on craft, they speak telepathically, but I can tell the difference between male and female, and I can sense inflection in their tones.
Mm. Go ahead, Alex.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, you're speaking about interdimensional beings and how they um, raise your vibrations so they can move you through solid walls and whatnot.
Mhm.
So what's the difference then between that and sightings that people have witnessed throughout the world and abductions, like actual abductions? Like,
Mhm.
are we talking about, obviously, from what I can gather from what you're saying, is that we're talking about two different kinds of
Yes,
entities here.
yes. First of all, let me explain to you, when you hear the word gray, when you hear the word reptilian, when you hear Arturian, or when you hear Anunnaki, or when you hear Nordic, of each of those, there are many different races of all colors, sizes, some good, some bad. When I say that, I mean some are not necessarily evil, but some do not wish to see humanity progress any further than what we are right now. And there's a reason for that, which I will be glad to explain to you.
Mhm.
But there are a lower realm of extraterrestrials, and they are pretty much locked into our solar system. And they are the ones working with, and that would be your reptilians, but not all reptilians are bad. There's many different races of reptilians, and there's one fraction of grays, many different fractions of grays, some good. I know of at least one race that's not so kind, but the ones that do not wish us to are of a lower rim, which means They are within the solar system. They cannot ever become interdimensional. The beauty about us is we're very unique. We have a lot of qualities that are in our DNA, what a lot of people call junk DNA, that are inactive qualities. And we have a lot of inactive gifts that will surface as we become more intelligent and as we learn to take the right care of ourselves. And we will also have longer lives. But anyway, these lower realm ones work with the cabal and different fractions of government or whoever the black hats may be. And they want to keep us dumbed down, because once we realize what our capabilities are and what we can possibly do, we will not need them, and they will have no control over anything ever again.
So have they shown you the possibilities or potential? Have they shown you or explained these to you?
Yes, they're here. They are here, and they're waiting for us to get to a higher frequency. And I'm not talking about just me and you or possibly the people listening. I'm talking about humanity. What people don't realize is that the interdimensionals and the good extraterrestrials, they care about us, but we are a very minute part of everything they love about our planet. They love our Earth. They consider our Earth as a living being. They consider our air, our plants, our water, our trees. They are all living beings. And when I was in Mexico, they told me to walk into the forest. And they told my son the same thing. And they put their hands out and said, everything is alive. And what they mean is that the trees and the flowers and the plants, all these things communicate. We can't see it because we are not at that level yet. But when we will evolve into where we can see where things communicate, and we will be able to sense these things. And it's just like when certain animals look at us, they don't see us like you and I see us.
I think there was at one point we could. I think it's just because of the filters and domestication that the human race has gone through that we've lost that ability, just like a lot of abilities that we once had when we were in our sort of hunter-gatherers state, if you will. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yes. So we can become interdimensional and do great things and be well respected in the galactic universe. And these lower dimensional and these reptilians and these, we'll say, bad grays and the black hats and parts of government that don't want to see us evolve, they're scared to death, because once we evolve and this happens, and see, they've known all along that the interdimensionals were coming. And a lot of them back in about, I think it was 2020, I saw these from the ISS where it showed all these craft started taking off from Earth because they knew the interdimensionals were coming, and word was given to them. We are coming. Leave humanity alone. We are here. It's time. And we are finally at this pivotal point in our evolution that we can do one or two things. We can destroy ourselves with our technology and our nuclear weapons, or we can agree to put those aside and take assistance from the interdimensionals and learn how we can go into space, and we can learn to become better human beings with better lifestyles, longer lives, and learn to be well respected.
Yeah, there's a question there for you. Somebody in the
I'll
chat.
let you read it. I don't want to.
When you communicate with them telepathically, is it in English or a common natural language or feeling?
English for me, because I speak English, and they are a million years ahead of us. So whoever they talk to, they would speak to them in their language. Yeah. Our technology does not compare to theirs. Our physics does not compare to theirs. They do not travel like we do. There is no time. There is no distance.
Yeah.
There is no currency or money. Those things do not exist. And the terms that we use to call them, like gray, Nordic, whatever, those are human made names. Those are not what they use.
Okay, so when you're going through this higher frequency transition, if you will,
Yes.
what exactly does that feel like? Can you explain what that feels like?
It is very hard to explain, but the closest thing I could compare it to is euphoric. It's like there's nothing in the world like it. And the feeling that you get in their presence, it's an overwhelming, warming, loving feeling. It's it's not like anything you would feel here on Earth.
Mm,
It's just totally different. But when you have to understand, their craft are living beings. So when they travel, their pilot, who was designed for that particular craft, his brain or his consciousness and the craft consciousness link up, and he basically lets the craft know where he wants to go.
mhm.
And through vibrational frequencies, they
Yep.
can go to any dimension or go anywhere. They don't travel like we do. They don't use fuels or any of these things.
I kind of figured that. I had a
Yeah,
doubt they'd use fuels to
yeah.
travel light
No, no,
years
no,
or
no.
wherever. So have they ever taken you to where they're from?
I don't know that I've exactly been where they're from, because when I go there are many different
Mm,
beings, and a lot of them, they live on craft. These things, some of them, you see them, it doesn't look that big, but when you go inside, it's very big.
yeah.
So, they can be invisible. They can be visible when they want to. They can change shape of their craft, and they can do this with themselves as well.
Yeah, it's now okay. So a little bit of background on you. I mean, we kind of
Okay.
skipped that. You
Okay.
so you say you're a former defense employee?
I worked for the Department of Defense as a civilian in the dental field,
Okay.
and
All right.
that was for dentistry. That wasn't anything to do with weapons or
Yeah, yeah.
ETs or anything like that.
Okay.
I did have a security clearance because I worked with commanders, generals,
Mm,
lieutenants. So because of being in that surrounding,
mhm.
whatever they talked about, of course, we would not be able to talk about. And to be honest with you, when they come to the dentist, they're not thinking about oral problems or anything like
Mhm.
that. They're
Yeah,
worried
yeah.
about, is it going to hurt? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
Just
so
be careful. You're dealing with my
yeah.
teeth.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I realize now everything that I have experienced throughout my life, good
Mhm,
or bad, was an experience and something that they wanted me to experience. And they still want me to continue my human experience. And they want me to always be able to balance the two,
mhm,
because it's important that I maintain, because I am a mother, I am a grandmother,
mhm,
and that is most precious and important to me.
mhm, mhm,
So that's very important to them. And for example, what would be a better way, or what would be better than for them to learn about humans and human
mhm,
experiences and human emotions and life of humans, and to send their incarnates down. So they have been with me throughout my life, and they've experienced everything I have. So, and the main thing they're always concerned about is they want to check my mental health. They want
mhm.
to check how I'm adapting between both,
Yeah.
because it is a lot it's a challenge, and it's not an easy task by any means. And they always told me this will not be easy, and it's not.
Now you said several, several different species, if you will. Now, how many have you just been in touch with one particular? I can't remember if you mentioned that or not. If it's been one particular, or if there've been several that you've been in contact with.
I'm sure I'm with, well, there's always many different beings on a craft. And I speak and say, that some, even humans sometimes, but there's like humanoid looking species, like Nordics, Palladians, tall grays. I've seen a reptilian, and he was a good guy. He wasn't a bad guy. I've seen other beings that look like humans from about the waist up, and then they look different from the waist down to their feet. But and I've seen some aquatic looking beings and things of this nature.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, reptilians are quite. No, I don't want to say popular, but you've heard.
Well, they have a bad reputation, and
Yeah.
there's more than one race of those. There's many different races. So, but the ones out there are good.
And I guess the reptilians sort of get the bad sort of, and bunt in the stick. And we're talking about claims of famous people being reptilian, everyone from the royal family to US presidents, all sorts of. I mean, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts of that? On that?
Well, you have to understand that is done because of that fraction of people that want to keep humanity apart. They want to keep us at constant drama, constantly questioning. Well, not necessarily, questioning and constant, in fear in a lot of ways. And that's all done on purpose. It's intentional. So that's the one thing that the interdimensionals have to face now is, and that's the reason why I'm here, and others will appear doing the same thing that I do. And we are here to tell you firsthand about our experiences, and that they are loving, and that they wish to see us continue on, and they don't want us to destroy ourselves. And like I said, they will not let us destroy ourselves because they care about the things that we forget about. Our marine life, our nature, our animals, all the innocent bystanders that really don't even know that countries are at war. All the indigenous people, some of these indigenous tribes have never seen technology. So they're not going to let us do something to wipe out all these innocent bystanders and our beautiful earth and our beautiful nature and our beautiful plants and oceans and seas, because those things are very important to them. They had a part in our creation, and they had a part in all of the plant and everything on earth, part of its creation as well.
So, I mean, one of the biggest threats right now, obviously, technology wise, is artificial intelligence. It's ramping up. It's becoming more and more prevalent. Have they said anything about the potential harm of AI?
Well, that's like anything else. It is a tool. As long as it maintains as a tool to help humans do things better, that's great, But if you let it overpower, if you get lazy and let it do everything, and you just kind of walk away and say, well, okay, I'm going to quit thinking, and I'm just going to let this thing do all my thinking, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense, right?
Well, yeah.
So it's a tool. You use it as a tool. There's nothing wrong with technology. It's how you use it.
Now, all this information that you've gathered from these beings, how has it changed your life?
Wow. I love the world. I love the planet. I see things. I can see that we are going to do fascinating things in the future. I'm just so thankful that I'm here to be a part of it. This is the biggest thing that humanity has ever faced, ever.
Yeah.
And we are a part of it. And it's beautiful. And it's going to get more beautiful. We just have to be patient
Mhm.
and let these things fall into place, and it's just going to be beautiful. And
Uh,
we have a lot to learn, but I've learned myself to be more appreciative of plant life, of our
mhm.
oceans, of the air, everything. I realize how short human beings, our life is compared to other beings,
Mhm. Yeah.
and that we need to slow down and enjoy our lives more. We have been enslaved to work from, society has told us to work from 9 to 5.
Mhm.
And some people nowadays work 2 or 3 jobs. And some
Mhm.
people take care of other people's children, don't get to experience their own
Mm.
children's lives. And all these things need to change. We need to enjoy our life more.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we can once we learn that not to be so focused on material things, learn to eat healthier, learn to be better people, be more have more empathy, and realize that when you take off this costume that we're wearing, which is our human suit,
Mhm.
we are all energy beings,
Mhm.
and we are all one, and we are all alike.
That
And
that
we,
I that I do really agree with
and we
the
are
the met
connected. And
the metaphysical sort of
yes, we are all
being.
connected, and we
Mhm.
all are connected to everything.
Yeah.
What we do affects the balance of the world and
Mhm.
the nature. So we are all connected, is what I've learned.
Okay, so another question from chat. What is their standing with spirituality?
They believe in creator source. That would be the closest thing to what we call God, but they call it creator source.
Mhm.
And it is different from, they don't have different religions, and they don't have all the things that we pretty much have are man-made things,
Mhm.
and they're not of the true nature of what the creator source
Mhm.
is. So they all have souls, and they believe in a creator source. And we all have souls. And when we have a consciousness, and when we die in this vessel we're in, our consciousness and our soul goes to creator source. And then we go in front of elders of different dimensions, some of higher dimensions. There are different dimensions. And some people may decide to come back and try being a human being again. Some people may have experienced everything they wanted to experience here, and they may decide they want to try being an extraterrestrial or something else. It could be an animal or whatever they choose. Then at some point, they may decide, and the group of elders, with their agreement, decide that they pretty much experienced everything. And then
Mhm.
they decide to stay in an etheric, non-physical form,
Mhm.
which puts them up at the highest level, which is the highest dimension closest to creator source.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. And again, this is something I like to believe. I like to agree with. With no,
Well,
I do.
I don't expect
It's
everybody to. Everybody is on their own
no,
spiritual
no,
path.
no. I do
Yeah.
agree. I do agree with what you're saying. Simply, but I've always looked at it from a different standpoint. But it's interesting how you look at from these beings and how they mention this to you and show you this. So it's interesting because I mean I kind of look at it from when we die when we die it's not really death. I mean it's
No,
our physical vessel perishes, but our
exactly.
energy essence continues on in a
It's our
different
soul
aspect.
and our
Yes,
consciousness, because
absolutely.
we all have our consciousness, but we
Mhm.
all have an inner self, a subconscious that knows everything,
Mhm.
our present, our past, things that we have blocked out. So, but once we And when we come into a new life here, we forget everything,
Mm.
But as we go back to source, we know all these things.
Mm. So interesting. So I mean, our consciousness carries on, but we don't remember it when we come back.
I think people have what you call bleed throughs, and some people
Okay.
that get regressed can
Mhm.
find out a lot of stuff. You can look at your Akashic records.
Mhm.
You can look at past
Yeah.
lives. It's all in your subconscious,
Well,
and they
Alex,
can do
you
that
had
through
something.
hypnosis.
You
Huh?
had something, didn't you?
I did.
No,
I
I've
did.
not had that done.
No,
No, I have.
Alex.
I
Alex
have.
has.
Yeah.
I've had a past life regression done on me.
What
And it
was
was
that like?
weird.
I'm curious.
Weird.
Weird. It was very weird, and I can't say in all honesty that it wasn't my flight of fancy at work, but when I got regressed, I mean the therapist always said to me right off the bat, she said, you know what, it's not like you're gonna be in a deep trance. You're gonna know, you're gonna be kind of aware that you're in an altered state, and you're still um, what's the word I'm looking for? You're in an altered state, but if you're not gonna, it's not like they're gonna be able to get you to do, like a lot of people misunderstand hypnosis, that they can get you to do whatever they want you to do, and that's simply not the case, right? Regression's kind of similar. You're still aware, but you're in an altered state, and you're kind of going back, right? And where I went back was just in a weird sort of scenario where I was in this forest surrounded by dead people, right?
Hmm.
And I had
Interesting.
killed them.
Oh.
Right. That was the thing, right? So when the therapist kept asking me, why did you kill him? And the only thing I kept repeating every time she asked me that question was because they thought I was different and they were
Hmm.
after me. So it was almost like one of those scenarios where it's like
You were taking
either
care
they
of
kill
yourself.
me or I kill them. So I
Yeah.
killed them. And that
Hmm.
was the kind of thing. And she abruptly ended the session
You're getting too
after that point. And
Did
sort
she give
of,
you your money back?
well, so here's the thing. So part of the deal was this. I can't remember how much it cost me because it's years ago, but part of the package was you do your regression, she's going to record it, and at the end of the session, she would give you the recording, right? After this session that I had with her, not only did she at some point stop the regression and started doing a clearing or a cleansing, which whether it worked or not is questionable. But anyway, at the end of the session, she refused to give me the recording. And she wanted me
Wow.
out of her apartment as fast as possible.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought it was weird,
That
but
is weird.
that's the way it was.
she
Hmm.
she never had a client like him before, and never never again.
Apparently not. But okay, but so it gets even weirder,
Yeah.
Oh,
if I
good.
may, because she lived on a second floor apartment. So she told me as I was leaving, goes, if you drove here, don't get in your car yet, because you're still going to be kind of in a daze. So go for a walk for a bit, clear your head, and then get in your car. And I had parked across the street from her apartment. So I went up the street from her apartment, went to a coffee shop, grabbed a coffee, and on my way back to the car, I had crossed the street to where I parked. I'm walking back and I'm looking at her apartment, and she's standing there looking at me, staring to make sure I get into my car and leave. It was just the
Wow.
weirdest
Yeah.
experience I've ever had.
That is
It was just
weird.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
it was. It was completely weird.
Yeah. I've never had it done. I remember a lot, so I don't know how, I just don't know, I'd have to trust whoever it was, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have to too.
Yeah, especially after hearing this,
Yeah. Interesting though.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to take a break soon, but I'd like to, I guess in the second half, if you're good for another hour or however
Sure.
it is, to get into maybe the more of the disclosure aspect of things.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I'd really like to get into that sort of aspect of things. Yeah, if anybody would like to learn more about Nancy, the website to go to is timefordisclosure.com. And it's in the show description. And we did put it in chat there. Put it in there again. But those of you who are listening on the New Visions Radio Network, you can go to timefordisclosure.com. Yeah, so we're going to take our halfway break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Nancy Thames talking about disclosure and more. Take care, everyone. Hold on.
Good evening. I'm Richard Palmisano, the founder of the Searcher Group. It's a paranormal company, the oldest in Canada. I founded in 1979, which not only makes me old, but makes me doing paranormal research and field work for just under 45 years now. I am also an author, researcher, and lecturer on the paranormal. I've written 6 books now. And I really enjoy coming on with Steve and Alex on Nocturnal Frequency Radio, as well as listening to the shows, because there's a lot of interesting guests there. I like it, looking at this stuff, because it opens your mind to other options and other alternative thoughts. There's always time to learn new things. So I hope you join us and come and see Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Thank you.
So let me ask you, what makes for good radio?
My 5 favorite songs all day long.
Play it again.
No.
As many commercials as physically possible.
What? No, why would that be good?
Great music, great talk shows, no commercials.
Precisely. New Visions Radio gives you no commercials, no nonsense, just the best new music and the best talk all day long, 24/7, 365. NewVisionsRadio.com.
Hey guys, Kristen here, host of the Paranorm Girl podcast, a bingeable exploration and deep dive education about the paranormal for the skeptical believer. Some of my past season topics have included shadow people, Mandela effect, demons, and UFOs. Currently, I am tackling Bigfoot. I have been sharing this journey with my audience since early 2021, and I have learned a lot these last few years. It's truly a mysterious world out there beyond our perceptions, and reality is just not what it seems. I have also, since the start, met some awesome folks like Alex and Steve, and I've really enjoyed watching and learning from them and also joining them on their show. Their guests are always outstanding, their listeners are just the coolest, and these hosts are some of my favorite people. I recommend their show to anyone looking for an intelligent and fun conversation about the paranormal amongst friends. So join me on my investigation, join Steve and Alex on theirs, and enjoy. Now back to the show. You are watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
And that you are, and listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio live on the New Visions Radio Network. And welcome back. Welcome back, Nancy. It's a pleasure having you on the show. Very first time, very intriguing story so far. Now, I would really like to get into the disclosure bit. Now, disclosure to you, what explain to people, to the listeners and viewers out there, what is disclosure to you?
Well, disclosure to me has already happened because I have seen them face to face. I have touched them. I know what they feel like. You know, I've touched their face, touched their hands and arms, and run my fingers between theirs. So I've had my disclosure, but there is two other types of disclosure. There is our governments around the world disclosure, which it is in the process now. And then, but that is not the same as extraterrestrial interdimensional disclosure. So we're going through the first process now of our governments. And it started out just really, really great, you know, and I was so impressed with the way that humanity was accepting all this. And, you know, I think it's been beautiful. It's really, a lot of the reasons they claim why they wouldn't say things is because they thought people would freak out. Well, there's nobody freaking out, you know. People are more intelligent and more open to these things now than they've ever been throughout our history. So, and I think now it seems like they're dragging their feet a little bit. And I personally, this is just my perspective, I think they're waiting for the James Webb Telescope to find something, because that would make it easier for them. That would take the limelight off of what they say, and they would say, okay, NASA, it's your turn, and then that people would be excited and happy. And I think they're hoping that they could kind of float under that cushion with that, because they are not looking forward to answering the many, many questions of why it was denied for over 70 years and the horrible things that have been done to keep it quiet. So I think that's why they're, hoping that the James Webb will put it out there and everybody will be excited and happy, and there'll be a lot less questions asked, like certain bad things that people know about.
Now, you mentioned 70 years. I mean, why 70 years? Why, like, and we're talking about what, modern day governments, right? We're talking about modern day governments, hiding and withholding information that they possibly have, including encounters, communications, or whatever else. Why for the 70 years has there been a sort of a blanket over our eyes, and our knowledge with this? I mean, I don't understand why they would. What did they stand to gain by keeping this information from us? A lot of us already knew.
Yes. Well, for the people in the know, the ufology crowd, and there's evidence everywhere. Everywhere. It's in our past history. It's in paintings. There's mentions of it in the Bible. Everywhere. There's messages everywhere. And for those that have their eyes open and willing to look, it's there. It's always been there. And they've always been here. We've never been alone. They have watched over us. They were here before humans ever started here. They were already here. They were millions of years ahead of us. And, they've watched other species and other universes come to this pivotal point that we are in. We are at an evolutionary stage. They have done this themselves, and they've seen other ones do it. So the point is, we're just at this pivotal point. So why 70 years? Because our government knows they are here. They have to start saying stuff. They are here. I mean, pilots are seeing things. And these things that they're seeing, there's no explanation. Their science does not apply to we don't understand their technology. It is beyond our understanding. They are millions of years ahead of us.
But I mean, it's been like that for the 70 years, pretty much, right? I mean, why now though? Why?
Because humanity is intelligent enough to understand and not freak out like in the past. It would have possibly have happened. But we are intelligent enough to know they are not gods, So you have to understand, they were waiting for the overall worldwide humanity to get to a level of understanding.
So what do you think? What do you think would happen with, say, organized religion, and look at, humans are in the image of God, if you will, and now all of a sudden there are other species, intelligent species out there. What do you think it would? Do you think it would cause chaos within the organized religious communities? I mean, what do you think would happen there?
I think that the mental health community needs to start getting educated on all this information about extraterrestrials. For one, more people will start waking up, because if they hear me talking, then they may say, that makes me stop and think about some things that I have suppressed. So there's going to be people that are going to start remembering things. And then there's going to be people completely shattered because they've been lied to all their life. So there is, I think the mental health community needs to be educated and aware of all this and be ready to help people. to understand, because some of them are going to need someone to talk to. Maybe they don't have family members they can talk to, so they would need to talk to someone. There's also an organization called UAP Medical Coalition, and it is kind of on a small scale now, but basically, from what I belong to it, I'd like to be more involved in it. And I have talked to mental health people around in my area, telling them that it would be advisable to educate themselves because people will want to talk to them. And it's not such, back when my parents were growing up, if you said you were going to a mental health field, oh man, that was just, you don't talk about stuff like that. People are more open to things of this nature now. And it's not just, it's not necessarily, I'm not talking about a psychiatrist. I'm talking about like groups, like group talks, group therapy, like groups that get together and discuss, well, this is what I thought, and now I'm being told this. How do you feel about it? And have a therapist to help them all in a group setting, maybe.
Yeah, it's interesting how I think we would all, I don't know, we would all come together in awe and interest and
I think we would.
inquisitive minds want to know. Look, at here is something new. This is groundbreaking. This is incredible that
We've never had this happen before.
you'd never had this happen before.
No,
and
this
the
is
fact,
a pivotal moment for sure.
well, absolutely. And I mean,
Yes, this is very important.
you'd have a level of fear, you'd have a level of excitement, all sorts of emotions would play out. And again, I guess it all depends on who those first beings would be, Nancy, because
Yeah.
as you mentioned, there are good and then there are bad, just like the
Well,
human race has. There are good and bad. So I mean,
a lot of them left here, but there still are some, and that's one reason why we have this war going on, is to keep chaos within our world. But the thing is that once all that dies down and people realize that we need their assistance, then they will assist us and they will help individuals. And one thing about it, and I'm sure I am nothing special, there's about 1,000 or 1,000,000 people like me, and they make us experience all kinds of, not make us, we have experienced many different things in our life, and all of it was, we have learned a life experience, we have learned a lesson, and I think it will enable us to be able to communicate, understand where people are coming from, and help them on how to understand how, because we basically had to do this. I had to, okay, this is happening to me. Okay, why? All the different, we've been there, we've done that. And this is basically what a lot of people are going to start to say, wow, this is happening to me in my lifetime. Never saw this coming. And, they will need people to communicate with.
I mean, what I find, intriguing, the fact that these intelligent beings, these intelligent races have technology and knowledge far more advanced than we do. Why are they sort of just, sort of sitting on the sidelines? And
Because they're waiting for us to get at a frequency.
Okay.
They're waiting for all of us, because you and I are having this conversation, but there's a lot of people that some people don't even watch the news, don't even watch TV. So you have to understand, when you look at a whole world, you're looking for frequencies. And I do know this, people like me, all my life, my frequency has been, they've been drumming me up for now. I have been groomed my whole life for now. So people like me, we are at a higher frequency than than we were before, or
Mhm.
or than the normal person. And just with us alone, we help raise the vibration. I can't even talk now.
Mhm.
Vibrational frequency
Mhm. Yeah.
among people around us. So they're waiting for, people just to be acceptive. First of all, accept the fact they are here and they are here to assist, and they are benevolent, and they love our earth, they love our planet. They had a part in our creation and everything on our planet, and we are like children to them.
Hmm. Interesting. I mean, it's very intriguing that I mean, you hear that quite often, that the fact that the possibilities of an intelligent sort of race having a part in our evolution, or our the beginning of our existence, if you will.
Right.
And the thought that there have been intelligent life forms or civilizations living here on Earth many years ago that have now disappeared or left,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
the possibility that they had contact with these very same beings.
Yes.
I mean, you look at there's a couple sites in Turkey, in fact, that scream intelligent life forms at a time when humans were supposed to be hunter gatherers and
Right.
did not have the intelligence or the means to construct
Yeah.
these buildings, these monoliths, if you will. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, there's been civilizations that have flourished, and for whatever reason, you know, they just their society ended. So I sincerely believe that there were civilizations before the Egyptians. The pyramids were there when the Egyptians got there.
Hmm, interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. So
And,
so
pyramids are all over the world.
they,
They're,
yeah.
they're
Mhm,
even there's some here in the United States. So,
mhm.
so
Well, yeah, it's intriguing that temples and pyramids, and how very similar they are in structure, and then you look at something as simple as the Easter Island,
yeah,
and the faces on Easter Island, and you simply go, okay, so what happened, what is going on? And there's not just one site, there's many sites across the world that scream this, like, you know can you decipher what happened here?
well, either some of them, either their technology got out of hand and they
Hmm.
destroyed themselves.
Hmm.
Some of them could have ascended, that they could have they got to their ascension and they could have ascended and gone into a higher dimension. Who knows? I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know everything. So there's many options, but obviously all of them had interventions with extraterrestrials. There's no doubt about that.
So, is the ultimate sort of coming together, if you will, and for these beings to show themselves, if you will, is it a point when we all ascend together?
We're already going through an ascension. We're
Oh, okay.
yeah. These things sound like there's something like like black and white or something, like you would just know. But actually, to go from 3 to 4,
Mhm.
it just happens and you don't even realize it. Later on, you will, if you think back, you'll realize, wow, I can see this. I don't remember seeing things this way. Or, eventually it will catch up and people will start to realize. But we are going through an awakening and an ascension, because I know that they are um, visiting people in their dream states,
Mhm.
trying to help humanity, kick in our DNA and help us a little bit with our evolution. And I know that they're doing that. And going through dream state is a good way because you're at a subconscious kind of level and you have no boundaries or fears, and they can put information in.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, dream state. It's you're in a calm state. You're in a
Yes,
state of receiving.
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
It
that's
makes sense.
exactly like when I would get really fearful or have an anxiety attacks. Um, Now, the latest time, well, the last time I had face to face was in September, and that's when I was in Mexico. And that's how I figured out that my son and I have different escorts. Really didn't know this until back in September of this year. And so when they came to the cabin that we were in, I woke up and they tapped me on the shoulder and told me, go back to sleep. This is not about you. And they were not the same, the female ET that comes from me. These were different ones. And so I laid down. And so he had his visitation and I went to sleep. And so another time they came for me and I woke up and I was standing there with my female escort. And I was running my fingers through hers, and it was very, very cold where we were. It took us 3 hours to get up on the mountain. It was a point, San Jose del Pacifico was the name of it. And I was telling her, I said, "Oh, you're so cold." And so then I look over across the room, and my son was aware that they were there, and he was under all these blankets, and he was like trying to get up, but he couldn't. He was at that paralysis state.
Okay, yeah.
And he could not get up and he could not say anything. So that triggered me. And I said, I won't say his name on air, but anyway, I said his name. And because I wanted us both to have an experience together, but you do not get to negotiate with the Greys. They are on a task on their mission. So basically she tapped me out right then and there. I mean, there's
go back to sleep.
No, she didn't put me to sleep.
No.
She put me in like a subconscious state to where I'm functional. It's like a sedated state.
You're
like,
aware of your surroundings, but you can't really react to them, sort of thing.
Yeah. But for him, he couldn't get up out of the bed. It was crazy, but yeah, but
So-
I was fine and I was communicating with her fine until I saw him. And then I was like, oh, my son, and just for the record, I have two sons. I saw for the first time it was the first time that I saw them have their first visitation. I think it was their first visitation and they were very young and we were on vacation. And I actually witnessed seeing them. And what happened was three came in the room and I raised up and they pushed me down, kind of like not pushed, but lay me down. And these were not the Greys that I were familiar with, the female. These were totally different. They were very, very short, like 3 foot tall. And they were wearing robes and had high collars on the robes.
Okay.
And they had me laying side of my face down, and I was unable to speak or move. And I was very upset because they were very young and I wanted to at least witness what was going on. But like I say, there is no negotiating with them when they are there on a task. All this emotional stuff and motherly stuff, there's no time for. So I did witness my children their first time going. And I was asleep by the time they came back. And the next morning we went to breakfast and we were sitting there and I said, well, does anybody have any dreams they'd like to talk about? Anything interesting? And they said no. So I left it alone.
So how did you feel as a mother to experience, your two sons going off into this sort of experience, and you were left behind, sort of thing?
My first reaction was I was angry because I wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I knew it would happen, but I wanted to be a part of it. So then, I realized there's no negotiations, but
Mhm.
I to be honest with you, I'm thankful that I did get to see it and witness
Mhm.
it. It could have
Mhm.
very easily have happened with me not knowing.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
So for me, it meant many different things. It was affirmation that, okay, time to really get serious about this, because this is more than just me. This
Mhm.
involves my children.
Mhm.
This is what we really need to know the meaning of all this. So yeah.
So did you sit there and ask yourself and question yourself, why your sons? Why your sons as well as
I think
yourself?
it's the same reason.
Yeah.
Um, they, I didn't tell you this, and I apologize. When I went in front of if I told you this, stop me, because I don't want to keep repeating myself. But when I
Yeah.
went before the elders,
Mhm.
they showed me the vision of myself being born
Oh,
and
wow.
myself going into life.
Mhm.
And they told me that when I come out, of course, breathe, whatever, but that I would not remember who I was and what my purpose here was until later on in my life. And
Mhm.
they showed me that, and I saw myself sitting there and then going into human life.
Mhm.
So they showed me that. So I pretty much know that that's what was what they have done. And most likely we've had many lives together, my two sons and I.
So why? Okay, and let's dive a little deeper here with
All
this.
right, let's do it.
Yeah. Why do you think they sort of put us through this sort of experience, this human physical experience, rather than just keep us in a sort of non-physical sort of aspect? Why allow us, or why push us, or why put us or place us in this sort of physical sort of scenario?
Because being a human being is a beautiful experience.
Okay.
We have just been misguided,
Hmm.
taken advantage of because of our ignorance. We've been taken
Hmm.
advantage of.
Okay.
And that's why they are here now to change that, so that our generation and the generations after us will not live like we have. We
Hmm.
will no longer be puppets to enslaved to a group of people, that are the really, really wealthy, that owns all the oil fields, owns
Hmm.
all the pharmaceutical companies, owns all these different things that have kept us at a dumbed down state.
Hmm.
They will eliminate that and help us to realize that we can do these things our own way. And
Hmm.
we have a lot of capabilities within us. We can actually learn to kind of cure a lot of our problems that we
Hmm.
have and not have to take synthetic medications. Pretty much everything we ever needed was placed here on earth. And a lot of it, pharmaceuticals companies keep hidden from us because they can't make money off of healthy people. Excuse me. They
Yeah.
cannot make money off of us. All industries, they cannot make money off us. If we have free energy, if
Mhm.
we have free electricity, they cannot make money off us. We are puppets uh, to a way of life that is not working for us any longer. We are too mature, too intelligent
I
for
mean,
this anymore.
look at Tesla when he
Yes,
discovered that. I mean, look,
yes,
his work is completely destroyed, or is it? You
exactly.
know?
It's hid back.
Yeah.
It's just, and I know that extraterrestrials have gifted our governments things, and they have kept it within their control. They didn't leak it out for the public, and it was
Mhm.
intended for humanity.
Mhm.
but it's never, we've never, well, except for night vision, Velcro, stealth, stealth, invisibility, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Things like that. But that's all because the military used them.
I always, when people mention Velcro, I kind of chuckle.
Fiber optics is another one.
Yeah.
All that was retrieved from that crash in
Yeah.
Roswell.
Sue says Masonic halls would go out of business. They wouldn't be able to classify
Exactly.
themselves as
Exactly.
superior.
The rich get richer, and we all just stay right where we are, working our tails off and not even enjoying our lives. So we need to change.
It's funny because I don't want to stray too much off topic here, but when we're talking about this, we have a person here by the name of, who lives in Canada, a Canadian, by the name of Jordan Peterson, and he was on, in fact, on CBC not too long ago, which is a governmental sort of major network here in Canada, and he was talking about, they're interviewing him, and he simply told them that I don't have to work. You guys don't have to work. You can I can literally show you how to make money without having to work for it. And he literally put out, he literally said the link for that sort of where to go to see what the secret was. And all of a sudden the CBC shut down the interview altogether. We can't have that.
Well,
so
yeah.
I mean, is this a sort of example of what somebody's been shown from these particular extraterrestrials or whatever, and they're using it and they're sharing it and they're providing people with answers that if you will, the elites or whatever else don't want you to know.
Exactly.
Or
And
governments,
that's
if you
how
will. I
most
don't
of
know.
us, our whole lives have been like that,
Yeah.
and our parents' lives and before. It's just the way it has been. But things are going to change and things are going to get better.
Well,
Won't happen overnight.
no, it's going to be a long process, but I certainly hope so, and I look forward to the day, if in my lifetime or whatever else, that we
I
do.
think we'll see a lot of great changes. I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything, but I don't think they've groomed me. They've groomed me for a reason, and this is it. And it's to help people understand, that they are there. They are here to help us, and they love everything about our planet.
Well, you know what? Once again, I want to thank you for coming on the show. It's been quite an experience. And anything else you want to get out there to the viewers and listeners before we let you go?
Well, there's one thing I'd like to say.
Mhm.
We have this war going on, and I think we should not choose a side, because if you choose a side, that is giving energy towards a negative. And whoever's at war, it doesn't matter who it is. Neither party is right. Each one has their own ideas. War is wrong. So instead of picking a side, pray for peace, and either pray or meditate, whichever one works for individuals, to choose peace and try to be more positive.
Yeah, I mean, the power of positivity is quite unique, and it really
is.
does work. People,
It does work.
it really does work. So, folks, for more information on Nancy, go to her website at timefordisclosure.com. Once again, you can get the link in the description here on the website or on the show notes. And well, Nancy, we certainly would love to have you back on in the near future.
Yes, sounds
All right.
wonderful.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for joining us this evening,
Okay.
and telling us your story. Take care.
All right.
care,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yeah, interesting, man. I mean, of course, not everyone's going to agree with it, obviously. I mean, that's, up to your own personal perception and
To each
thoughts
their
and
own,
listen
man.
to each your own. I mean, it's an intriguing story, and I mean, you hear relatively similar stories with a lot of people who have stories of being contacted by intelligent civilizations other than
Yeah.
ours. So
Mhm.
I mean, who knows, right? I just found it intriguing, the structure that she brought with the whole creator source and all that. I found that quite intriguing,
Yeah.
because I people are outside religion, if you will, because I mean religion, organized religion and religions in particular will sort of dictate a resurrection or whatever, and death is not the end all be all sort of thing. And then you have you have your atheist and all that. There's simply you're dead. That's it. You're
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
You die. Well, yeah, maybe for the physical sort of aspect of your being, it dies. I mean, it goes without saying. But what about the energy that we house, Alex? I mean, that's the question, I think, here. I think we all have individual energy here. I mean, our thought process alone is an active energy.
Yeah.
So what did, and Nancy mentioned consciousness, that we carry that past our physical sort of death, if you will. But when we come back, we lose that consciousness. So but the consciousness stays in queue in between your lifetimes, so to speak. It's kind of like you work for a company, and you have overall seniority, and you go to another sort of warehouse or something, and that warehouse you have overall seniority, but you don't have sort of warehouse seniority.
Right.
So your seniority overall company wide is high, but in that particular facility, you're at the bottom now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts about the whole Nancy's sort of discussion?
It's plausible like anything else, but I don't know. I really don't know. I find there's a few questions I had mulling in my mind that I didn't
Mhm.
get a chance to ask her, but one of them was why don't they contact everybody?
Yeah, yeah,
I kind of did broach the subject when you were gone there for a second.
yeah.
Her answer was that there are other people that they contacted, and I go,
Mm,
well, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, why don't they contact everybody?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if the expectation is that we need to elevate to a
Yeah.
certain vibration in order to progress forward and go to another dimension,
Hmm.
why only contact a few people?
Yeah.
Why not just contact everybody and say, hey, you want to get here? This is what you got to do. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck there in poverty and famine and war and anguish and everything else that you're currently going through. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of like where I was going with that question.
Hmm.
She answered it, but not really the way I was hoping she would answer it.
Mm. Yeah, almost like a purgatory.
Yeah.
You know, you want to stay
Listen, it
miserable.
makes no sense. If for me personally, if I was responsible, or say you and I and a bunch of other people were responsible for creating or helped to create a race,
Hmm.
you know, and we wanted them to elevate, don't you think we'd contact all of them or try to at least?
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
that's where like I said, I mean, what she's saying is plausible, but
Hmm.
the skeptical side of me says, okay, there's a couple of glaring things there that need to be kind of answered in order for me personally to be satisfied.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not one of those people that says, okay, you're special, everyone else isn't.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one
Yep.
that's, you know, has the responsibility to tell everybody else that they need to elevate. Who are you to be able to do that? And not to put her down in that
No,
sense.
no, no, no.
The
But
point
why
is,
her? Why her?
she's
Yeah.
one person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If these beings are so powerful and they're interdimensional and they've helped create us and they're kind of like our creator, why not? And they can contact obviously her and other people. Why not everybody?
Mm-hmm.
That's where my sticking point is in all of this.
Give everyone the same knowledge. You know,
Make everyone aware.
make
All you need to
everyone
do is make
aware.
everyone aware.
Well, yeah, I mean, making everyone aware would obviously would change things on a
It
massive
would
level.
definitely change things on a
You
massive
know,
level.
I
You
mean,
know?
you know, when you sit there, you know, I sit there and I constantly think about, you know, the structure of society
Mm,
and how many faults there are with it, and you know, the old saying that, you know, these politicians and the, you know, these leaders are supposed to be working for us, that they aren't working for us, and you know, all these things that are supposed to be working a certain way that aren't really working that way. They like to give you that sort of, you know, that they like to give you that vision that is working that way, and it's not. And I think you know, society as a whole and its structure,
it's fucked.
it's really fucked. And you know, as you
It is.
yeah, and as you would say, like humanity, it needs an enema.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It definitely needs an enemy.
You know,
And you
because
know, everybody's perception, and you know, I hear this, you know, I hear this quite a bit sometimes
Mhm.
in, you know, different people I listen to on podcasts or YouTube or what have you.
Yep.
Everybody's got their own version of utopia,
Well, yeah.
right? But
Mhm.
your version of utopia isn't my version of utopia,
Yeah.
right? So when you come across a scenario where people say, well, the current structure doesn't work. Of
Mhm.
course, it's flawed. I'm not suggesting by any stretch of the imagination that what we currently live in is perfect
No, God, no.
by any stretch,
No.
by all means. But it has structure.
Mhm.
As flawed as it is, it has structure, meaning that
Mhm.
you know your place. Whether you like
Uh,
it or not is a different story.
of course, that's coming from you, a fucking
Yeah,
Italian.
of
Thank
course.
you know, leave it to the fucking Romans.
Yeah, yeah. No, but my point is simply
No.
this:
Yeah.
if there wasn't that structure,
Mhm.
see, a lot
There
of
would be
people are
chaos.
exactly.
There
A
would be
lot of
chaos.
people are
There would.
anti-establishment, and they're
Mhm.
like, we need to collapse the current system in order
Mhm.
to have a utopia. But like I said earlier, your version of utopia differs from my version of utopia.
Yeah. I
So what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up having factions
Mhm.
of people who either believe in your version of utopia over my, and some that believe in mine,
Mhm.
and then you're just going to have warring factions. You're not
Well,
going to be in any better situation than you are in now.
you'd have several different splinter fucking, you know, yeah, as you put it, visions of utopia,
Mhm.
visions of how society should be.
Yeah.
But you know, what makes me laugh is the fact that if you know, a society was to collapse today,
Mhm.
that a huge percentage of the people within it would fucking would be so lost,
Yes.
so lost
Yeah.
and so confused and so, oh my god, what am I going to do now? I don't have my
The majority
phone.
of people will be
I
like
don't have
that.
my phone. I can't take my
Yeah.
selfie today. I
Majority of
need to
people will
take
be
my
like that.
selfie today. You can take it because there's a little bit of power left on your phone, but that's it. It's
Yeah.
not going to be shared with anybody. But I mean, so many things like narcissism and so many human traits that have fucking creeped into society and latched in, and are driving fucking societal sort of cornerstones into fucking chaos already. I mean, chaos. I don't know about you, Alex, but you say, people need, an enema, but the world needs an enema. But I really do believe now that chaos has already ensued. And it's only a matter of time before I think not total collapse, but total chaos, if you will.
It seems that way.
It really does. The way society is now, especially after a pandemic or whatever you want to call it. Was it a pandemic? Whatever. Whoever, whatever. But the thing is, let's call it the Great Pause.
Yeah.
Because I mean, everybody and everything was in pause.
Yep.
Everything literally halted, grinded
Everything
to a
shut
halt.
down for a while. Most things shut down for a while. Yeah.
And people, contact was like, no, you can't make contact with others. You need to stay at home, and that's it. Sure, people defied that, whatever, but that period of time really played with the mindset of humanity. Really, I mean, now people are, I don't know, catatonic maybe, and just so, I want to say stupid.
No, that was even before that.
But even more so, though.
Well, sure. Yeah.
And the shit.
This kind of, you can almost say that the pandemic kind of accelerated the stupidity
and the chaos. And the chaos.
The problem is, though, Steve, is that every time there's economic uncertainty, which we're currently facing now, a large part of that has to do with the pandemic as well. Not all of it, but some of it has to do with the pandemic.
A huge part of it. I mean,
like the rising cost of food and everything. Yeah,
inflation. I mean, people don't realize how much damage they fucking did when they fucking went ballistic with hoarding.
Yeah, no, I know. It's not, but it's not even just that. I mean, just the logistical nightmares.
Well,
we're still experiencing to this day.
Yep, supply issues.
Yeah, yep, has caused everything to go up and up and up and up. But the point I was trying to make originally is that every time there's an economic uncertainty, which is what we're facing right now, because we're not sure, are we going into a recession? Are we not going into a recession? The interest rate keeps going higher, so that indicates that there is a recession, but things still seem kind of okay. You know what I mean? There isn't that kind of certainty one way or the other. There's always going to be that fear, and that fear drives everything else. Because what's going to end up happening is one fear will lead to, oh yeah, see, it's because of that, or it's because of this, or it's because of this person, or it's because of that person.
But you're seeing that. You're seeing that on such massive levels now. I mean, you look at everything from, you've got your climate deniers, and then you got your climate change deniers, and then you got your, the people that are saying, well, no, it's a reality. The one thing is for certain that it's a reality, but the thing is, it's not a reality in the sense that, people are being told.
Well, I mean, it's like was it the late 80s, early 90s with acid rain?
Dude, it's been going on. This thing has been going on for 60 years, and they've been telling us, doom and gloom is around the corner if we don't change things. And that was 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And it just fucking changes with every time the earth changes, something else changes.
Of course. But you know what? Okay. That aside, it's an inconvenience to most people in the sense that we have to change the way we do things and adopt new methods. And it is a pain because people, on a whole, abhor change.
Yeah,
Right? We
sure,
get
sure.
comfortable with a certain way of doing things, and we
Mhm,
don't like the fact that we have to change. Right?
mhm.
That's standard across the board.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm,
However, these kind of changes, as stupid as they may be to
mhm.
some extent, generate opportunities.
Well, that's exactly it.
You know what I
That's
mean?
that's exactly it.
And that's the thing that we have to try to keep in mind. Has, as much as we may hate the fact, or even
Dude, companies,
yeah,
businesses see the opportunity,
yeah,
see the dollar signs, and
but
that's
it's
what
not just opportunity in that sense. I'm talking about opportunity on a whole, because you're changing you're changing industries.
Mhm.
You're basically going from an industry that's stale to a new industry that can grow. And if it can grow, it means more opportunity for people to have jobs that may not otherwise have the
Sure,
opportunity, right?
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But at the same time, depending on what that industry or that, area is it better for the environment?
That's questionable. Of
Yeah.
course. That
And
is
that's
questionable.
and that's what we have to look at
Yeah.
here. I mean, you look at okay, let's go with Tesla. We talked about this before,
Yeah.
but I mean, you look at Tesla, and this is the car. The car of the future is it's electric, and let's give it all the green brakes that we can give it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then when you take that car apart and you sit there and go, how is this better for the environment than a gas guzzler?
It isn't.
It's not. It's
It's
probably
not.
worse.
So the only thing that would make an individual um who doesn't really think about it feel better about themselves is the
Mhm.
fact that there's no exhaust coming out of the tailpipe, so to speak. That's it.
That's it. That's
That's
it.
it.
That's
Because
it.
to produce the lithium ion batteries is extremely pollution.
Mhm.
Like like pollution wise, it's really high up there to
Mhm.
be able to extract those minerals, like
Yep.
lithium from the whatever.
The
You
cobalt,
can't.
lithium.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not pollution free
Nope.
to create the batteries that power your electric vehicle.
Nope.
The disposal of the batteries after
Even
they're no
worse.
longer usable,
Mhm.
there is no way to dispose of them.
Nope.
Right? You have to literally just throw the battery pack in the garbage
Mhm.
right now. They
Right
may
now.
find a way to recycle it down the road, but at the moment they don't have a way to do it.
Nope.
So you're basically taking these batteries, once they're used up, you're throwing them away. You know?
I was watching a video for the Jeep EV, and literally watching this thing just fucking go up in flames.
What's that?
The Jeep EV, the
Oh yeah,
electric,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah.
right now the state that they're in, a lot of these electric cars, that you have to be weary of buying one, because these things happen quite often with these cars.
Yeah. It's
A lot
also
more a lot more than people realize.
it's more the installation of the charger at the home that's the issue. Um, I know what you're saying. Yeah, there's
Mhm.
been a couple of fires that have happened at homes because of the EVs. That's so there's a couple of things you have to worry about. One, potential problems with the battery pack itself that could cause a fire. That's obviously a main concern,
Mhm.
a big concern. But then there's also the charger at home,
Yeah.
right? If it's not installed properly, or there's a defect with the charger, that's another massive problem,
Mhm.
right? Because if that catches fire, your whole house goes up in flames, right? That's the issue. Electrical fires are very difficult to put out, right?
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
Yeah,
now you have to you have to insert something on a whole different level with for instance, when you call the fire department in, they have to have a specialized sort of
yeah,
unit come in
yeah.
because it's a car fire, electric car fire. Water's not going to put it out.
Oh, fuck no. That's the worst you
S-
can do.
Yeah, so they're going to have to bring in a whole special unit to put this fire out or contain the fire.
Yeah,
It's a whole different ball game when you're dealing with these electric cars and when they catch on fire.
it is.
People don't realize it.
But there's other ways to do this. I mean, like, there's wireless charging. Our
Yeah.
phones have it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Obviously, it would cost a ton of money in infrastructure,
Well,
and I
yeah.
get it. I completely get it.
Get that gigantic wireless charger.
No, well, I mean, you have if you build it into the highways at the very least,
Oh, imagine that, eh?
you could literally go coast to coast without having to stop to charge.
Now this is where we call into Q here, the free energy that.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I yeah, imagine that, but yeah.
but that's all you would really like. I mean, if you have these electric vehicles, if that is in fact the future,
Yeah.
whether it's by lithium ion battery pack or now what's coming out through Toyota and other companies, not just Toyota, but solid state batteries, which
Mm,
have a higher density, which means you can go longer distances on a single charge,
mhm,
almost double what the lithium ion can do, well, in most cases, which is great because if that's the case, then that makes it more feasible to have an electric vehicle. But if you have, for example, at the very least on the highway systems,
mhm,
wireless charging or some form of wireless energy transfer, and you can go once you're on the highway, you can
yeah,
go pretty much from where you start to where you need to go without having to ever pull over and charge. It
yeah,
would make electric vehicles feasible
mhm,
for more people
yeah,
because some people, like especially salespeople, right? Like I work in an industry that has a lot of salespeople involved,
yep,
right? And they travel all the time. For them to have an electric vehicle isn't feasible. It just
mhm,
isn't.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because then they'd spend too much time having to worry about charging their vehicles and not getting to appointments in time. So if you make that, a little bit more realistic, if you have the wireless charging on the highways, at least it'll be more feasible for everybody to adopt this sort of technology.
mhm. Well, we have obviously, electric seems to be the largest alternative, obviously, to
For now, because
for
we don't
now.
know any better.
Yeah, but I mean now you have companies like Toyota working on hydrogen cars.
Oh yeah, that's been
Um,
happening for a long time though.
it has been, but now
Yeah.
the Toyota has claimed that they're able to put the packs into a car. So
Yes. Yeah.
before, you got guys like what's his name there in California who put together a hydrogen car. Um, what the heck is his name? Somebody in chat tell me. I can't remember his name. It's a UFO dude. Lockheed Martin worked with Lockheed Martin. His house was raided 50 million times in California there. Holy crap. What's his name? He was on Coast to Coast several times. Oh my God.
Yeah, we're talking about Bigelow, are you?
Not Bigelow. Not
Okay.
Bigelow. What the heck's his name? He worked for, I believe it was Lockheed Martin.
Yeah,
Could be
I
wrong.
don't know.
Or I don't know. It'll come to me. Anyhow, you can actually watch it on YouTube. He retrofitted I think it was an old Corvette or an old Camaro, one of the two, and he retrofitted it with hydrogen packs.
Yeah.
And he literally, you know, drove the car.
So there's fuels
Oh yeah,
being worked on.
Bob Lazar. Thank you, Nancy. Bob
Uh,
Lazar. She's
Bob
in
Lazar.
chat.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Bob Lazar. I couldn't remember his name. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know the guy's name. What's his name? Bob Lazar.
So
Yes,
there's
thank you.
people working on synthetic fuels,
Yeah.
like actual synthetic fuels
Hmm.
that are supposed to be less carbon emission.
Yep.
Instead of fossil fuels, these are just synthetic fuel, just like synthetic oil, right?
Yep.
So if they were able to be able to mass produce this, it would kind of not really solve our issues. If it's less polluting, great. You could still use your existing vehicles. You don't have to make any modifications. Great. Because for anybody who has a regular combustion engine, you know, I mean, the other drawback of current EV vehicles is when the battery pack goes, if you're out of warranty, you're spending a shit ton of money on replacing the battery pack. You're better off just selling the fucking car and getting a new one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the other drawback. But if you have a conventional combustion engine, if you can use a synthetic fuel that burns cleaner, doesn't pollute as much, but still allows you to use your vehicle as is without making any modifications, that'd be great. That's a step forward in my mind.
Yeah. We
I think what we're trying to do is take a massive leap before we can learn how to fucking crawl.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's where I think we are at the moment.
I put in chat the link to Bob Lazar and the hydrogen car that I was talking about. Yeah, Lion Toyota. We spoke at Toyota, and
Yeah,
they
Toyota's working on a couple of different projects. Like
yeah
I know I was aware of the hydrogen one that they're working on,
yeah
or have worked on rather, but they're also really pushing for this new solid state battery, to be a thing because, again, it's a higher density. You can travel almost twice as much as with conventional lithium ion batteries, which means, I've like a Tesla has a range of like this is being kilometers, but like 400 or 500 kilometers. Now you're looking at more like 1,000 kilometers, close to 1,000 kilometers
well
per charge.
I know Stellantis was saying with their electric cars that are coming out, they're claiming up to 620 kilometers.
Yeah,
Claiming.
claiming.
So again, that's a claim, and we won't know until the cars actually hit the market,
Yeah.
and you start seeing. But that's what they're claiming with some of the cars that are coming out.
There's no doubt in my mind that electric is the way of the future. There isn't a doubt in my mind about that. Right now, it's just not at a level where it's economical for the average user.
You can't. It doesn't matter though. You can't. These companies can't continue to build these cars because of this. The supply is just not there, Alex.
No, I get that.
They're
No, I'm talking
complaining
about I'm talking about the electric being the wave of the future.
yeah, maybe,
They're
but
trying to push it too fast now.
they are
The
way too
technology is
fast,
not
yeah.
quite there yet.
No.
Right? And that's part of the problem. They're trying to like I said, they're trying to take a leap when they should be trying to take baby steps.
Yeah.
Right? So in my mind, electric vehicles or something similar to that is the way of the future. Like the fossil fuels is a finite. Fuels are
that's
finite.
just what it is fly night. It's fossil fuels. It's fossil
Right.
fuels. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not going to be there forever. So we need to find an alternative method, whether that be, whether that's going to be like a synthetic fuel or
Well,
electric. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how
that's what well, that's one thing that they're working on now is they're working on greener fuels.
Yes.
Which seems to be another wave of what may possibly come in the future with these cars, right? Night, Cal. Take care, man.
Take care.
But I mean, it's a battle right now for supremacy. It's like when with
VHS and beta.
VHS beta and
Yeah.
DVD, you know, and then all of a sudden you got Blu-ray and HD and yeah, they're heavily, and I think
They're trying to, yes.
no, they are. They
I know
are.
they are.
They are
They're
really.
trying.
But the thing is, again, supply is a big issue with a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, our power grid is garbage. And that's what's
that's
and,
another big issue there.
and that's why Windsor, for instance, is having a hard time trying to get this battery facility up and running because the fucking energy that these facilities will demand when they start producing these cars and these batteries are just incredibly high.
Well, it's also the demand on the infrastructure. Like let's say, for the sake of the argument, tomorrow everybody adopts electric.
Yep.
Right. Get rid of all the ICE cars or internal combustion engines, replace them with EVs. The infrastructure is not there to be able to accommodate that much of a spike in electricity. Right? Because if everybody were to change to electric vehicles, that grid would have to be able to support the demand for electricity to charge all these vehicles. And it's just not there. It's not there yet.
Well, yeah, that's you look at again, you look at all these condos. Where the hell are they going to put all these fucking charging stations and everything else for these condos and buildings and so on and so on? I mean, the demand just seems ludicrous right now. I mean, we would have to build some massive power plants.
Well, I mean, if you want to have everything electric.
And that's the thing. There you go there. Look at what generates a lot of this electricity.
Fossil fuels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nuclear and fossil fuels.
So there you go.
It's not the well, again, going back to my earlier analogy, we're trying to take a leap before we can take a step.
Yeah.
It's the in thing to do and say, right? Politicians will always go with what's in right now to get the next vote. Everybody's concerned about everybody's concerned about the environment. Everybody wants to be, you have to go to EVs.
Yeah.
So that's what the politician will regurgitate.
So do I. The car from Blade Runner.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, it's not realistic. The goals that the governments have set in North America, at least, are not realistic.
No.
We don't have the infrastructure to be able to accommodate what they want.
2030, 2035, whatever these
Even
goals,
less.
it's just ridiculous. It really is. It just seriously.
Have a good night, Mars.
Yes. Have a good Christmas, Mars, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yes.
It's just ludicrous, and you want disclosure. You need disclosure of this shit. You need to be transparent with this stuff, because you know what? The less transparency with this fucking it just it muddles everything up.
Yeah,
it really does. It just people are so sold on fucking electric cars and so sold on the fact that this is going to save us. It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just bullshit. Right now,
it is.
It's a pipe dream. Until we have better technology, better knowledge, it just honestly, I think you need to just slow things down.
In all honesty, we need to be able to harness
free
renewable energy.
Free energy.
Yeah. We need to be able to harness renewable energy.
Where's Tesla when you really need them?
Yeah, exactly. The actual Tesla, not the car company.
No, not the car company.
But if we can harness renewable energy, then you can say, okay, everybody needs to change to electric vehicles.
Yep.
But if you're using fossil fuels or nuclear energy to create the electricity to power, to charge electric vehicles, it's no better off. You're no better off than just driving a regular combustion engine.
Exactly, Sue. It's the rich telling us what we need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, guys, you know what? This is the last show of 2023, at least the last
is.
scheduled guest show until 2024. Want to thank Nancy Thames for coming on. Very interesting, intriguing story. We would love to have her back on in the future to talk about more of her experiences and whatnot. Once again, go visit her website at time4disclosure.com. And again, I want to thank all of you guys who tuned in this evening or, watching us here on YouTube or Twitch. Thank you for the continued support and help us. We're looking to get to 1K, guys. Come on, help us out. Spread the word.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, subscribe,
That's
get
it.
people, bring people over to subscribe.
Make sure you
to the
comment.
shows.
Comment on the
Yes.
episode so people
Comment.
start
Yes,
seeing it.
let us know your thoughts about our discussion tonight with Nancy or with whatever we talked about in the last little bit. Whatever. Guys, we're pushing for 1K. Give us a hand in my William Shatner bet. No, it's
Yeah, William
Captain
Shatner.
Kirk. It's horrible. Anyways, guys, have a good good Christmas and New Year's. You never know, we might pop in or I might pop in and do a little show here or there or whatever to keep you guys entertained.
Steve for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe even me sometimes.
Yeah, whenever. But who knows? Anyways, guys, we're back January 7th with Lyle Blackburn, who's coming back on the show. It's been a long time since Lyle's been on the show. Looking forward to catching up with him and talking crypto, man. We're talking about the folk monster and more. You still have not seen the oh my god, the boggy creek. Oh my god, what is it now? I'm having a brain fart.
You can't even remember now.
Oh man. Oh, what is it?
I probably haven't. Let's just put it out there now.
Hold on. Yeah. Oh man. I can't believe I'm having a brain fart. The Legend of Boggy Creek. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Check it out. Cool flick. Awesome flick. Very atmospheric. Scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Really cool. If you can find it, check it out. Highly recommend it. Guys, take care. Thank you for joining us and have a great set of holidays for you guys that celebrate it. All right. Take care, Alex. See you guys in the new year. Later.
Good night.